Hello YouTubers, thanks for clicking into my channel. So today I'm going to start off by reading the email I've sent today to the head office of the nursing home company in which my father is staying. I called this email Bullied and Traumatized. I'm going to read it, and apologies for that, but it's pretty long. Probably take 3 or 4 minutes. Hello, my name is Neil Hartle. I'm the youngest son of Mr. Hartle, who, to the best of my knowledge, still resides at your nursing home. This is a very serious email, as I am about to publicise widely my dreadful experience of over 200 hours of care support I provided for Dad in your home between June 2019 and January this year. My visits ended when I was barred from seeing my father after taking him from the home in complete despair, provoked over months of shocking safety and hygiene concerns that were willfully ignored by the managers. In the next week, I will email 3 or 4 times with singular questions for your attention. Please today, could you offer some feedback on the medical negligence around my father's peripheral vascular disease? I had written 5 communications to management where I warned of the likelihood of falls and injuries if this matter wasn't dealt with in my father's best interests. Prior to arriving at your home, Dad had never fallen. In disputing and denying my suggestions around his continued monitoring at the vascular centre at Wythenshawe, which would have certainly resulted in staff walking Dad routinely, he has now accrued a catalogue of falls. I was only informed of the first 2. After that, I only heard through relatives of other residents of a further 3 or 4 falls. What happened here? Both the unit manager and the deputy manager had previously assured me, in the presence of another staff member, that I would always be informed. In December, an unacceptable incident put my father at increased risk. I arrived at the home to be told by the unit manager that Dad was in the garden. After searching for more than 5 minutes and thinking he must have gone back into the building, I eventually found Dad in the garden, seeing his head bobbing up and down behind a long hedgerow. He was walking slowly with a newspaper in one hand and a fork in the other. That path had previously been inaccessible prior to a tree being taken down. It's a very dangerous stone path with boulders at each end. Had my father fallen, he could have been out of sight for considerable time. Total breakdown of care. Management did nothing for weeks to secure that area, and I actually caught him heading for that same path 1 week later. On my final visit to your home, I was utterly shocked to see the inept response to my concerns. A tiny plant pot that didn't begin to block the area had been placed. If a dementia sufferer didn't sense danger looking at that path and the boulders, a small pot is unlikely to register either. Unacceptable. Onwards with that final visit, and not long afterwards, a good member of staff advised me to take care when walking with Dad after his fall and hospital visit. You can imagine my horror to learn that Dad had been in hospital with a bruised hip in the days or weeks earlier. I believe it could have been 7 or 10 days earlier, because I recalled some strange comments that I'd had from 2 staff on the previous visits. It's quite obvious that management knowingly chose to withhold news of Dad's injuries because they knew I would be angry at their previous nonsense attitudes. My father was put at risk because your management couldn't front up and deal with a serious disagreement in an open way. Your management made staff uncomfortable and created a toxic environment, knowing that eventually I would walk away. How dare people take this reckless approach to my dad's welfare? I had thought for 3 or 4 weeks that I would attempt to free my father from your home. Still, I tried to put it off because I knew it could end my relationship with him. Horrible. The truth is that your management have violated the principle of care and best interest and sent me into a personal trauma from which I've only recently recovered. On Friday, I shall ask another serious question re my father's neglect. Please deal with this issue with urgency, as a failure to do so will only mean more trouble, litigation and inconvenience for everybody. Thank you. So, there's a couple of things I'll probably just mention quickly. these falls had been going on for months, and the Lord only knows how many there actually were. In fact, I did ask the unit manager in that last week how many falls had there been up to this moment, and I was told she doesn't have that information. Yeah. In the end here, we just had a culture and a relationship where there was as much danger coming for my father from the dysfunctional nature of the secrecy, the deceptions, of the smoke screens, as ultimately, was coming from the obvious hazards and obvious failings of policy. Worth mentioning also, without shadow of a doubt, that some responsibility here lies with the POA combination, or as I prefer to call them, the hoax POA combination, who willfully failed to make sure that I was aware of this fall, this final fall, and this visit to the emergency department at Macclesfield General Hospital. Just despicable. Everybody knew that I was turning up there 3 times a week to walk with my father and to put him on his circulation booster, as I had done for 8 months. Yeah. Many people are culpable for this brutal failure of the Mental Capacity Act and the dominant principle within that act, which is that everything has to be done in the best interests of the subject, i.e. my father. So what on earth happened to the values of the Mental Capacity Act when it came to my father? How is it possible that the absolute central tenet of that act was literally thrown out of the window? I won't go on too much here today. There's a bit, there's a bit to digest there. I hope it's of interest. Please, any questions? I'm sure there should be, because again, I haven't elaborated too much. I'm conscious to keep these videos to a sensible time frame. But any questions, please don't hesitate. I am anxious to really share and learn from other people's experiences too, and to make this a good resource. So thank you for observing this particular video. Friday, I intend to put out another video, which will be a follow-up, a message also to the care home head office around despicable failures, just as serious, around hygiene within that home, especially in my father's room. My father's way too public room, that is. So we'll touch upon those, just absolutely vulgar hygiene fails on Friday. Please tune in again, and if you can subscribe, if you like, and if you can share, that would be absolutely wonderful. Until then, thank you so much. Thank you. I appreciate your time.